Hey hunties, hope we're all fine and well wherever we're watching this in the world today. So my plan today was going to do a video about seeing Lady Gaga last week at the Mayhem Ball, hence the giant poster in the background. However, a weird thing happened in work and I feel like I want to discuss that instead. So I'm going to put on hold the Mayhem Ball stuff. Also because I was going to do a lip sync for the Lady Gaga video. And I really couldn't be bothered to have a shave today, so I'm just going to do some makeup just for the purposes of getting some makeup on my face. And that means I don't have to completely shave everything off because I'm being lazy. But the main thing for today is, say, in line with that, with Mayhem Ball, I've started wearing press-on nails. I did it for the first time recently just as a trial, wore them at the Mayhem Ball. I wore some Wednesday ones at the Mayhem Ball, and I thought to myself, I wonder if I can do my makeup with press-on nails, because I found that there's a lot of things that become a lot more difficult with these press-on nails, i.e. just undoing my jeans so I can go to the loo and stuff like that. So I wondered to myself if doing makeup was any more difficult with fake nails. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hoodie off because I don't think that's a good idea to keep this on. And yeah, I'm going to have a random discussion of what happened in work. It's very strange. I'm Confucian. In the words of the great Vine.
So I am Confucian.
Yeah, I'm going to take the hoodie off and then we're going to start getting the nails on and I'm going to talk to you about work being weird. See you in a sec. So the reason I started wearing, or I decided to start trying press on nails, because I've never been a nail queen because I have really flat thumbs and nails in general. They're just really flat. And obviously there's such a curve to press-ons. And then I saw like a random reel and it said about like using a hairdryer to warm the plastic up and remold it. So I've done that with a set of Primark nails. They're Halloween. And I've got them laid. Jesus, my words aren't working today. I've got them laid up, ready to go. So I'm going to start pressing them on. And yeah, it's a weird one with the work stuff. So the weird thing that happened in work, a couple of days ago, so because I do a 4-on 4-off shift pattern, a couple of days, or what day am I on now? So I'm on day 2 of my 4-off now. And on day 2 of my 4-on that I've just done, or night 2 because I was on nights, my sergeant turned around to me. I'm back in the military, by the way. My sergeant turned around to me and goes, what video are you planning to do on your next 4-off? And I was like, huh? It took me a moment to realise he was talking about my YouTube channel because I'd discussed it. I didn't realise that anyone in work had decided to start watching it. Because my YouTube channel got me in trouble quite a bit whilst I was in the RAF. So it's one of those ones, like, I don't tend to discuss being back in the military. I don't know if I have actually said that I'm back in the military. Well, I have now. So yeah, it's one of those ones because it used to get me in a lot of trouble. Like, I got called into the office on several occasions whilst I was in the Air Force, with people complaining about my videos because people used to get very easily offended by them. And there was a lot of people who said, I don't understand why people are offended by that. That's hilarious. But that's because some people took it really rather personally. I shan't go into an example because I'm back in the military now and don't really want to get in trouble for it. As much as I would like to call people out for being dumb. But anyway, when I left the service back in May 22, I got a message from one of my old bosses being like, we've had a complaint about your YouTube channel because you've apparently uploaded this video and slated X, Y, and Z about an individual. And they want it removing. And I just literally was just like,
go tuck yourself.
You are not my boss anymore. You have no charge over me. I can post what I want on my personal YouTube channel. This has nothing to do with you. So yeah, it really did amuse me that this individual felt that they still had some sort of play over me, even though I'd left the service. And I was just like, really? You want to lodge a complaint, even though I'm no longer serving? Go off, sis. So yeah, it's one of those ones where I'm just now a bit more cautious of what I post. Anyway, let's get back on topic. So yeah, it was a really strange thing that my sergeant had asked me what video I was posting whilst I was on my days off, and I was just like, I hadn't really thought about it. I knew I was going to post something to do with Gaga, and I had thought to do that on these 4 off. But again, it wasn't like, oh, I'm definitely going to do it. And him saying that, I was like, oh yeah, I'll post that, the trip to Gaga. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, okay, it's nice that they're showing interest in my stuff. A bit weird, but okay. I'm not going to complain about it. So yeah, it didn't seem all that weird that I was being asked about this. So I was just like, all right. Yeah, I didn't think much else of it. So then Tuesday evening rolls around and we're all having a bit of a banter about, because all of my colleagues are relatively decent with their banter, which I'm more than happy with. And I can't remember specifically how we got onto the topic of discussion, but then my sergeant very camply was just like, oh, is this a better option? And like strutted his way back into like the, I'd say, foyer area. Like it's the bit where you enter into our main building. It's not even that, no. You come through the door into where our offices are, and it was like this bit where we all just kind of gather at the beginning of shift and just chit chat before we all disappear and go do whatever we needed to do. And yeah, he came in and he was like, hey hunties, hope you're all fine down here well, wherever you're watching this in the world today. And I'm just sat there like, triggered. Like, where the hell did that come from? Like, okay, he's clearly watched enough of my videos to know that off the top of his head. And I'm just kind of sat there like, excuse me? I'm like fully Confucian at this point. It proper boggled my mind. I was like, that was really weird and out of nowhere, but okay. What is happening? So yeah, and then we randomly got onto the discussion of the fact that I said, I was like, do you even know what hunties means? And he went, yeah, because Matty and I Googled it. And I was just like, what? So there's multiple people watching my YouTube channel. Like, you're just showing me off to my entire shift, which I'm obviously not mad about. That it gets views in. I'm more than happy. I just wish they would subscribe. But yeah, it was the fact that 2 of them have watched it and then Googled it. So yeah, it kind of got me thinking about, I don't want to say tolerance, about like, my time like back in service, because I've generally pretty much in 15 and a half years in time in service, I've been tolerated and accepted, and tolerated probably is the better term actually. And people have always been polite enough to like ask questions and if they are unsure on something. And when I rejoined, I was like, oh, I'm going to be joining up with a bunch of ex-army who are all going to have a very specific mindset on the world, and I'm not going to be accepted just for who I am. I'm going to have zero social life. Is this the right choice for me? And it turns out it was probably the best choice I've made in a long time with regards to military service, because all of my colleagues are wholeheartedly accepting of me. But ultimately, I do still work with a bunch of older, cisgendered, heteronormative men. I think, well, there's myself and the 34. I've got one lad who's 32, and then everyone else is in their 40s and 50s and 60s. Actually, I don't think we've got anybody 60 now. I think it's all 40s and 50s. And these guys have been in the military for years and years and years. They've been around the road. They know what they're doing. They know who they are. So again, I still have had for a long time that kind of, oh, like they're still just, they're going to tolerate me. But more and more, they started asking questions and going, oh, I hope this doesn't offend you. I hope this doesn't offend you. And I'm like, at the end of the day, no, it won't offend me, because you're making a conscious effort to expand your knowledge, and I'm never going to hold that against anyone. I think that's a fantastic thing to do, especially for those who haven't really got the experience of it and just want to understand or want to ask the questions. I had a very in-depth chat recently about gender and sexuality, and one of the guys, again, he's in his 40s, at the end of the discussion, he kept asking questions. We're like, what does this mean? What does this mean? I've heard this, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the whole discussion, he just went, I don't get it. And I think I'm never going to understand this. And I was like, at the end of the day, you don't need to understand it. Like, you just need to go, okay, that's who you want to be, that's who you want to be. Like, just accept it and move on. Don't question it. And this isn't me, this isn't being said in a negative way. Like, at the end of the day, he has tried to expand his knowledge. Yes, he doesn't understand it. Because it's kind of a lot to take in sometimes. And he was like, but I don't get, like, you get that kind of person who's just like, I identify as a microwave, that's my gender. And I'm like, look, I'm part of a generation where I'm kind of that back end of the Xennials, where I was raised with a Gen X mindset of, I don't care. But at the same time, I have the humanity of the millennial side of things where I'm like, okay, I care. And I said to him, I was like, at the end of the day, you don't have to understand it. You just have to accept it. And he was like, well, what does that even mean? And I went, well, just say, okay, I accept that. That's who you are. That's how you want to be. Go for it. It doesn't affect your life. Just move on from it. And he was like, I still don't get that. And I was like, right, does my gender or sexuality have any effect on your life day to day? And he went, well, no. And I went, right, but you accept it. Yes, you understand it, and you accept it. It has no effect on who you are. It has no effect on who I am. You just go, okay, cool. And you move on. Like, it's as simple as that. So when you get to that person who's like, I identify as a microwave, don't argue with them. Don't say that's stupid. Don't create drama out of nothing. Just sit there and nod and go, okay, I accept that for you. If that's how you identify and that's how you want to be, I accept it, and move on with your life because it doesn't affect you. Then you don't need to understand it. You don't need to be happy about it. You don't have to like it. You just have to accept it and move on with your life, because otherwise you're going to spend your entire life being offended, being upset about other people. And he was like, that's actually pretty good advice. I like that. Get the eyebrows glued down, and then we'll continue to apply makeup and finish off this story. So she'll be back. That was painful. It took me about 5 minutes to get this wig cap on and like this bit flat. Note to self, I will not be putting nails on until after I have put my makeup on in the future. That's where we're at. I think I might just leave it at this just because that was so much effort. Certainly not feeling the love for this. Now, where were we? We were discussing one of my colleagues and his I don't understand it feelings of the situation. Just accept it, move on. You don't have to like it. I think that's a pretty bit of sound advice, to be fair. So yeah, me and this other colleague, we've had other discussions. Well, I've had these discussions with multiple colleagues. There was a recent break room discussion, and the question got asked to me. So another colleague of ours took his 2 kids to Pride in Norwich. I got asked, what's your opinion on kids being taken to Pride? And I was like, well, no, I don't agree with it personally. I don't think children should be taken to Pride because, a drag queen could get tripped and break a heel, or an eyelash or a nail. You just don't want drama. Children and drag queens, like, the only time that works is drag queen story time, where they sit there reading from a book, looking stunning, but reading from a book still, not throwing themselves around a stage. Where children could potentially get in their way. So, but I was like, but jokes aside, I was like, it doesn't bother me. I think there are things at Pride that aren't really suitable for young children to see. I have seen, because they're things that I personally, again, myself, not that they're inappropriate to me, but I certainly don't want to see. The problem is people sit there going, hey, it's not sexualized. But when you've got somebody literally walking down the street in a leather harness and a thong and nothing else, that's not appropriate for a young child. Like, you wouldn't allow that on a safe search on the internet. So, but again, it's up to the parents. Like, we shouldn't have to change the way we operate ourselves at Pride because there's the potential for young children to be there. That is a parent's choice at the end of the day to bring their children. The topic didn't shift, but the argument got brought up saying, well, do you not think it's forcing an ideology? Like, because children at a young age just want to impress their parents. Do you think that children will... It's like the nature-nurture argument. Do you think children are likely to try and impress their parents, being like, I'm gay as well? And I said, well, no, because I was brought up by straight parents from birth. I was brought up with the only gay men I ever saw on TV were Jack and Will on Will and Grace. I think the first gay kiss I ever saw was Willow and Tara on Buffy. So no, I didn't turn out straight with all of this heterosexual programming that I saw. So no, I don't think that to be the truth. And then I've obviously flipped the script because I'm an arse and said, okay, so what about people taking their kids to church? Like, you're forcing an ideology on children who are at a young age. And they was like, no, that's the different thing. No, it's not. It is the exact same thing. You're forcing an ideology on young impressionable children who are just there who want to impress their parents. It doesn't matter, it's the exact same thing. Yes, one's religion based, one is sexuality based, but is the exact same thing. Certainly in my eyes, I don't know, that other people may disagree with me. And it's the same with sports. Two of my colleagues are Manchester United fans, a father and son. Well, you raised your son to be a Manchester United fan, and now he's a Manchester United fan, and he's going to raise his child to be a Manchester United fan, no doubt. So as heterosexuals, no, you do the exact same. You place an ideology on your children that they should follow whatever sport you follow or whatever team you follow, and they aren't necessarily given an option in it. There's my argument to that thought process. And we do realistically have very mature discussions about stuff like this. I'm very lucky that we're all kind of given that opportunity to talk as adults and convey different thoughts and ideas. We all accept each other's opinions, whether we agree with them or not. We go, cool, yeah, that's your opinion, I move on with my life. I think I'm gonna have to pause for a second whilst I do this. So I'm gonna fast forward and I'll be back with you once. I definitely will not be putting nails on before makeup, because this is a lot more complicated than it usually is, because I'm not used to the extra bit of length. Bear with, because I need to text somebody. I needed to text somebody earlier, so I'm going to switch the video off, so if suddenly the angle's off and I'm looking weird, I'm sorry. So it turns out I'm done. I've spent about 10 minutes putting this colouring in place, talking the entire time, and hadn't pressed record. So now I've got about 10 minutes of talking to redo. Great. I blame Simo because I was texting him. Right, so what did I discuss in the last 10 minutes? I can't remember now. That's awful. We'd finished discussing... this is a problem. Sorry. It's only a problem when it comes to like me uploading realistically, because I just have to edit out all of the crap. I'm gonna go cry somewhere whilst I figure this out. I literally had to take the phone off and go check the videos that I've just done. Right, so in that like 10-minute video that we lost, I reconcluded about the ideology thing. And I think we kind of came to not necessarily an agreement, but it was okay, yeah, we each get each other's points with it. We're probably not going to see eye to eye on that thought process, but we've accepted each other's thoughts. I also said about, so basically I'm pretty much an open book with work, and I've always been very accepting of the fact that people are going to ask me questions. Now, obviously personal questions are a bit of a different matter, and you get that kind of, this might be a little bit personal, John, but, and I'm like, I always appreciate people expanding their horizons, and I'm more than happy to answer questions. Obviously, if they ask about my sex life with my husband, I'm not particularly going to give them the glowing details of it on a day-to-day basis, because I don't think anybody needs to know that, and that's why I don't generally discuss it. But I do get the occasional one where they go, this might be personal, and I'm more than happy to answer it in general, as long as it isn't too personal. Anyway, I had a recent question raised by one of my colleagues, and he just turns around and he goes, John, this might be a bit of a weird question. I'm like, we have some pretty weird discussions in this place. I don't think anything's a weird question anymore. Go for it. What you got? And he went, I heard a term recently and I don't understand what it means, and I'm really hoping that you might be able to shed some light on it. And I'm like, this could be absolutely anything. Because I think because I'm one of the younger ones, people kind of make this assumption that I'm like in and hip and I know all of the TikTok trends, and I'm like going, nope, I haven't got a clue half the time. And I'm like, Google it, because I haven't got a clue. So I was like, okay, we'll see what you got, because I probably am not going to know what it is. And he went, I heard somebody use the term big dick energy. And naturally I burst out laughing because I thought that was hilarious. And he was like, what is that something that I should know? And I'm like, no, it's not that you should know it. It's just, it's funny to me that, because that is not what I was expecting you to come out with. And he was like, oh, okay. So what does it exactly mean? I was like, the easiest way of saying it for me is somebody with big dick energy is a man who may not necessarily have, or maybe has an average or under average size penis. Because this guy's thought was you have to have a big penis to have big dick energy. And I was like, no. If you have a average or under average penis size and you're okay with it and you make jokes about it and you are accepting of it, that is somebody who has big dick energy to me. Like, they are okay with who they are, are okay with what God gave them. And he was like, so does that mean that the small dick energy is like, it works the other way? And I went, yeah, no, entirely. Somebody who has small dick energy is somebody who has a big penis and brags about it, or somebody who may have an undersized penis and lies about it. That's small dick energy. It's like you are proving that you have a small penis by the fact that you are lying about it. Like, if you've got a small penis, just accept it. It's okay. Like, all penises are valid. And he was like, oh, I think I get it. And I went, I think the easiest way to for you to understand it would be, so you know the people when they come through the gate and they've got a really loud exhaust or engine, and we all joke about that they're overcompensating. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, that's small dick energy. And he went, oh, I get you now. I fully understand it. Yeah, that all makes sense. And he was like, so quite a lot of the guys here who joke around and say about being under average, they have big dick energy because they make jokes about it. I'm like, yeah, no, entirely. Like, if you have the ability to laugh about it, you have big dick energy. That is ultimately what it comes down to. And then I finished off, and this is just a personal favourite joke. And I turned around to him and I was like, yeah, but personally I have a medium penis. It speaks to ghosts. And you just saw this look of confusion as his head went, huh? Oh. As he realised what I meant by that. And he was just like, speaks to ghosts. Oh, you're not even funny, Jonathan. Personally, I'm hilarious. Anyway, right, we'll move on from that. So yeah, that's where we're at. A joke recently got made as well, that a certain individual who might be leaving soon, that when they do leave, I should put them in drag for their leaving do, which I'm more than happy with. Mickey, when you do eventually leave, you know where I'm at. Actually, I don't think you do know my address. You haven't been to this new house, so you don't know where I'm at. I will tell you where I'm at, and I will put you into, more than happy to put you into full drag, because I think it'll be, there we go, there we go, there we go. That looks stunning now. Huzzah. That is what we were going for. So yeah, the joke has been made. So yeah, you know where I am when it comes to you leaving. Because he, and this is on him, bear in mind, he turned around and said, I think I would be a prettier drag queen than you.
Really, queen? No.
And he is a relatively good-looking bloke. I'm not going to disagree with that. But there's a difference between a good-looking bloke and a good-looking woman. So, challenge accepted. You don't have to shave your beard off either. It's probably at this point, he won't even be watching this video now, will he? Or he certainly won't be watching it this deep. Because I haven't done a makeover video in a while. I really need to do one again. So there you go, Mickey. You can be on my YouTube channel. Yeah, he brought this on himself. He said that he would make a better looking drag queen than I. So look, Mickey, more than happy to have you come across, get you into full drag. You don't have to shave the beard off. I've got somebody else. I did, my friend Mikey. He had a beard and I made him look stunning. You don't have to tuck either. I won't force that upon you because it's just not fun. Nobody needs that in their life unnecessarily. If you want to, you're more than happy to. I will tell you what to do and give you the black bodge tape to do it. Because I don't think you need me touching your junk. I don't think a wife would approve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get off. I'm going to finish off this look. I'm going to put everything together. Because we're on 10 past 6 at this point. Half of me is tempted to just go, let's just sod it off because it's getting late. And I really can't be bothered anymore because it's just taking so long because of these freaking nails. No, I'm not going to give up. I'm determined to do this. I'm determined to do it right. So I'm going to get off for now. I'm going to complete the look, come back, because I think I've basically discussed everything I wanted to discuss about work. If something else comes to mind, I will pop back in and see you momentarily and talk to you about it. But for now, I'm going to just finish the look off. And I'll see you when it's done. Well, it's 7:05 in the evening. I don't remember what time I started this. I think it was about 3:30. So this has taken 4 hours, including putting the nails on. That's probably the longest it's ever taken me to do my makeup. It was a journey today. And I'm blaming the nails. I like this. I don't mind it overall. Like, the colour combination works really nicely. I can see why Taylor put it as her album cover. Definitely not mad about it. Right. I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna remove the makeup now because this is literally I have nothing else to do. Like for the rest of the evening, I'm literally just gonna sit. I'm gonna have my dinner and do nothing for the evening. Like there was absolutely no reason to put this on other than putting some makeup on. So I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna remove everything. Right. I shall see you all later. Bye, hunties.